Hello, I'm Rua Jelamir from Croatia, also citizen of Canada, but my home is Croatia. I was born in Croatia. I'll be talking about my experience from Singapore, September 20th, 2015. I arrived to Singapore as a part of my Southeast Asian backpacking trip. My plan was to stay there for maybe 2 days, not more than that. I was on my way from Indonesia, and then from Singapore I'll be traveling onwards to Malaysia and then Thailand and other countries. Upon my arrival to Singapore, I was immediately detained without explanation why. The Singaporean authorities treated me basically like a terrorist, like a criminal of worst kind. They wanted to know my travel history. They made me look like a criminal. All the questions truthfully I answered. However, that wasn't enough. They set me up to fail. They wanted to see the $2,000 cash, which is ridiculous, which is nowhere written in any rules. Like, you don't need 2,000 cash in order to stay for 2 days. I mean, I was only able to fetch $1,000 because the ATM doesn't give more. I did approach another border guard. If one border guard treats you bad, then you have right to go to another one. Another one worked fine, and that did let me through. Same night, while I was exploring Singapore, the 15 policemen, all in plain clothes, approached me and they arrested me. They didn't handcuff me, but they did flash the handcuffs that they are about to arrest me if I don't comply. They wanted to basically to get rid of me. Why am I not calling this arrest? Because arrest means charge, means due process, means notifying the embassy, means some kind of procedure. None of that was respected in my case. Embassy wasn't notified. I wasn't given a reason. Why am I arrested? Basically, they just say you have to do this or you have no choice. So basically, I was kidnapped in Singapore. I was kidnapped. I wasn't even arrested. So now, sure, this might sound as my imagination, as a make-up story that I made up something, or that I left something out, that I didn't say the whole story. But there is a witness to this story. The Singaporean resident is a witness. If she's willing to testify, if somebody wants to look into it, she's ready to testify. I think she should be ready to testify because she witnessed everything. I have her card. The police talked to her as well. And that night, September 20, 2015, was unforgettable for me because the Singaporean police were shouting in my face, "What's your religion? What's your religion? What's your religion?" So now, if it's about funds, if it's about money, why they ask me about religion? If it's about religion, meaning if it's about terrorism or security, well, guess what? I'm not Muslim, okay? So I did let them know that I'm not Muslim, if that's what makes them feel safer. I mean, by the way, no Muslim will lie about their religion. And I'm not Muslim, I have to repeat that. And so if I was, it's not about religion then, because not being a Muslim cancels out threat of terrorism, right? So we are going in circles, you know. If it's about money, which I did have money, I had a bank account, and it's easy to prove. The bank account cannot be fake because you can either log into my bank account right from the office. That's what normal countries do. They make you log in from their computer to see if you really have money in their account, or they will call my bank, and automated service will confirm that I had around $6,000 in my account. So it's not about money, it's not about religion, it's not about terrorism, it's not about security, it's about skin color. One of the policemen mentioned, "Hey, you know, you're from Croatia, you have a Croatian passport, but you're black. We don't believe that you are Croatian. There's no black people in Croatia. Your passport is fake." That's what one of them told me. But I cannot prove that, but I testified this is what true. So now there's several things to take into account, okay? The first one is my human rights are severely violated. This is act of terrorism. What Singapore did to me is an act of terror. First of all, they don't have any proof, any evidence against me. I've never been to Singapore. They don't have me on any terrorist list. Even if they do, it's easy to rule that out. Yeah, people are arrested every day on a double identity because, yeah, a lot of terrorists have names of somebody who's not terrorist, but after verification, it's easy to prove. And if I was a terrorist, I would be arrested or I would be held. And I do want Singapore to come forward with their evidence, whatever they have against me, because if I'm a threat, then I should be arrested. Then I'm a threat for my community, for my workplace, for my family, then I'm a threat. I shouldn't be free. Why am I at large? But if I'm not terrorist, if I'm not a threat, and if I was really kidnapped, then somebody should be held to account, which of course won't happen because Singapore has the rule that once you're denied from the country, you're never able to return back. So I'm not even able to physically enter Singapore to fight my rights and my case because, again, Singapore does not allow me to physically enter the country. So they just leave it the way it is. They're sending a message, we don't want you here, you're not welcome here because we don't want your skin color. When I was in Indonesia, I met some Singaporean people. They gave me a very hostile look. I wasn't sure what's going on. I'm not racist myself. I'm from mixed family. One of my parents is white, another is black. I worked in Asia for a couple of years. I was raised in a Christian church. And by the way, even if I wasn't, we are all one human race. That's scientifically proven. Just because you don't like my skin color, it's your preference, it's your matter of taste, well, doesn't mean that I'm a bad guy. So yes, even though I can be the nicest guy, but hey, you're not white, you're not right. We don't want you here. We don't want black people here. I'm not making this video to make Singapore looking bad, but I need to call out racism and because this is terrorism. So this doesn't happen to other people. Humanity has been shaped with struggle for justice for a long time. If nobody says anything, then everything is okay. It's not okay. That's why I'm talking about this. I hope my plea will not fall on the deaf ears. I know for a fact that not everybody in Singapore is racist. And I hope that non-racist people in Singapore will look at this case and fight this case, not for my sake, but for the sake of themselves. This will embarrass themselves, not me. I know who I am. You want to make me look bad guy, you want to make me look terrorist, it's not going to happen. I know who I am. Just because somebody suspects that you're a bad guy because you're black and want to make you look bad, it doesn't mean that. By the way, the process of globalization is irreversible. If you want to isolate Muslims, blacks, put them in the same category, the more you push them to the corner, the more they will come out, the more they will fight, the more there will be resistance. And at the end, they will win. So you must find a way to work out with Muslims or blacks, whether you like them or not. They're there, they're here, they're part of humanity just like you are, and every human has right for freedom of movement around the humanity unless they do something bad. So it's not gonna work. Your racist treatment will not work. I called the Singaporean police who arrested me. There are 15 of them. I know they will hear this video. To step out and to talk about it because, public needs to know both sides. There are two sides to the story. Yeah, just come out and say you're part of the story. Like, it's legal for Singapore to, according to international rules and conventions and blah, 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 to deny entry to anybody they deem suspicious or they don't like. But just because it's legal, it's not moral, okay? Everything Hitler did in Germany at World War II was legal. Was legal, not illegal, it was legal, okay? Everything that Japan did against Chinese in World War II was also legal. When you have might, you have right. Singapore violated me. Any Singaporean citizen can enter my country, Croatia, which is part of European Union, without any problem. Unless they're wanted for something, they'll be allowed. Me as a European, I'm not allowed to Singapore because I'm black. Now, who gave you right to paint me to be a terrorist or a bad guy? That's not gonna stand. It's not gonna stand. The hatred against black people or brown people or any kind of people will eat your life. You're the one who loses at the end of the day. Yes, it's not easy for me either, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be harder for yourself. If I was a white Muslim, nobody would even make a fuss. Nobody would say anything. Like, white Muslims do not get bothered. They don't get profiled. So it's not about religion either. I mean, and it's stupid. Even if it was, it's so stupid to assume that somebody is a bad guy just because they're Muslim. Muslim people are, I'm not Muslim myself, but I testify that Muslim people are one of the most sincere, the best people, most giving, most hospitable people in the world. There are like 1.6 billion Muslims in the world as we're speaking now. In 50 years, there'll be 2 billion Muslims. So how are you gonna deal with that? So you're gonna isolate 2 billion people? How stupid you are. Why don't you move to the moon then? It's very stupid thinking. We have to find ways to work together, not doing this kind of shit. If you accept this as something normal, then where should I be? Like, I should be in a jungle in Africa, and then you guys would be happy? No niggers, no problem? Come on, it's not gonna happen. I'm human just like you. And that's racism. This is actually terrorism. This is the core of all, the reason for all the wars in this planet. When you try to isolate people, when you treat them bad just because the way they look, or you expect them not to be around you, then go kill yourself or go move to the moon. Don't live on a planet Earth. Planet Earth is inhabited by black people as well. No, I understand there's racial issues on both sides in humanity. I've been to many countries. I'm a world traveler. But you need to know that the one way to solve the racial problem is to learn from each other, okay? That's the only way. So the black people can learn something from white and Chinese or Asian. The Asian can learn something from brown people or black people as well. Isolation will not work. It just doesn't work. It was proven in history that it doesn't work. So the more you try to isolate, you will lose. Racists will lose. Even though what Singapore did to me is a huge injustice, I lost money for my ticket. I was blacklisted. I'm banned. By the way, I'm legally banned from Singapore forever for no reason. I mean, unofficially, because I'm black. Officially, we cannot tell you why. So the public needs to know why. The right of the citizen comes before the right of the security of the state. Because in the name of security of the state, you can justify pretty much anything. Black people belong to this humanity just like you do. I have right to live just like you do. At the end of the day, Singapore, I don't hate you. I have nothing against Singapore. I mean, I didn't know anything about Singapore before I even went there. I went totally. My experience shaped my judgment about Singapore. So yeah, guys, those of you, I mean, I read some good comments. I read some silly comments. You can email me for any further questions. I'm not going to reply to any hate messages. You're going to be banned. I'm not going to respond to any bullies either. I wish you a good day to you and your family. I wish you peace. Because remember, if there's no justice, there's no peace.